I am on my way to Choa Chu Kang now. Why am I at Tengah? Because I just rode 871's Feeder Express variant. Whatever that number is, I'm just gonna call it 871X. So I took the first PM trip. I'm gonna be uploading the video. You guys can try to make it out how many EZ-Link card taps are there. I think it's audible enough if you play my video at max volume. I mean, for the video that I'm gonna upload. So basically, I also counted the number of passengers in my head as well, and I tallied it up to around 27 real passengers, excluding all the bus fans, because all the bus enthusiasts, they alighted at Tengah interchange. So at Plantation Crescent, there were like 8 people, and then the following stop there were 2 people alighting, and then another 2 people alighting at the subsequent stop. And in the middle there wasn't really anybody alighting, but towards the end there were like quite a lot of people alighting. And at the last stop before the interchange, which is just the stop, just right outside the interchange, 4 people, all of them were real passengers. They alighted at that stop. And then there was also one passenger that got lost. I think he was one of like the Totak residents. He wanted to take either like 77 or 173, and then he saw 453, boarded it, thinking that it would call one of the stops at Totak, and he was wrong. It ended up skipping it, because I mean, it's a feeder express, right? It goes all the way to Tengah. So here's the thing. If Singaporeans can't even tell the difference between a bus that skips stops and a bus that doesn't skip stops and calls every single stop, what makes you think rapid buses would work in Singapore? I mean, right now it's just like short distance services. If they can't even get like short distance services, I mean, the feeder express is correct. What makes you think that they would know how to adjust themselves to whatever stupid fucking rapid bus plan those extremists, bus enthusiasts have? Like that cult, basically. And the thing is, I better not see them complaining. Because you know why? None of them even live at Tengah or like near Tengah, like Bukit Batok West, Jurong West, Taman Jurong, Choa Chu Kang. They don't even live there. So all I see is just like people screaming into like an empty chamber or some sort. It's like they didn't even take the time to do the actual demand studies and actually look at where people board and where people alight. I don't expect them to be like accurate, because that's not the point of demand studies. Demand studies is just for you to get like a rough gauge of how the demand is like for any particular service. So yeah, that's that. Okay, the reason why I said I better not see them complaining is because they're not Tengah residents, and they don't even bother to do the surveys. And it's not just one day only. You have to do it consistently throughout a long period of time before you actually, understand the service as a whole, if you get what I mean. Because from my own experiences, when I took the feeder God damn it. When I took like when I took the Feeder Express variant, I mean, what am I saying? Whatever 991C is now, I took it during AM peak. I took like the last departures, and then surprisingly there was still around like 20 passengers, I would say. Sumimasen. Okay, so basically 991C, there are still around like, okay, 991C, 20 passengers, right? And then 871X had around uh, 20 as well, and 992X had about 15. Again, because those were like the very, very last departures. And I believe 992X will definitely get demand during PM peak. Likewise for 991C and 992X, they would definitely get demand during PM peak. I mean, it's self-explanatory because of the way the way the routes are designed. Even without doing like a demand survey, you already can kind of like get a rough idea of how the demand would be like. And this comes from experience, as in like your knowledge of like bus routes in general. I'm not talking about bus routes of the past, but I'm just talking about like current bus routes. And because of that, I really, really wanted to check like 871X. The reason is because like people in that cult bus enthusiast group who want like existing trunk services converted to skip stop without any compensation, or even if there is, it's like the worst kind of compensation that you would have. Those people, when I think LTA they reviewed all the feeder express plans for Tengah, those people started bitching and whining nonstop. They were saying that like, why don't we have many bus services into Tengah? Why don't we have all those rapid bus services going into Tengah? I want 174 rapid. I want 180 rapid. I want 171 rapid. And all that kind of bullshit. They were constantly whining again and again and again and again and again. And their ideas are more resource intensive as compared to whatever we have like nowadays. I mean, like, that's the reason why I really wanted to check 871X. In the morning, I think it was, wait, did I say 20 packs? Like around 20 packs. A little bit more, a little bit less. You guys can estimate from there. But I actually counted, like, I listened to the number of taps, the number of like EZ-Link card taps, and I subtracted that one passenger who was clearly lost. So yeah, and it totaled up to 27. If all 3 feeder express services could get so much demand in just the first day, I don't care which trip it is, as long as there is like one trip that has demand, and in future you could just adjust the timings as you will. You could add, subtract departures, like just adjust it according to like the actual demand, right? You could just do that. But at least today's experience has shown that like the feeder services, the feeder express bus services, oh, that's a scanner copy on 993. Okay, I mean, like, at least it has shown that the feeder expresses actually work. I mean, on the first day you already got 27 packs, and this is coming from like a group of people that were vehemently saying that like feeder expresses in general were bound to fail. I do understand that Tengah's bus connectivity as of this point in time, there is no 171, there is no 181 currently inside Tengah, and there's no 174. Okay, it's quite bad, and that's why a lot of people take these bus services. Okay, fair enough, but again, they took the findings of like 298X, 21X, which is like the demand patterns for those services in completely different areas. Obviously there's bound to be differences, right? So, but then they're like, oh my god, 298X and 21X are really, really stupid. And then they even went on to say like, oh, 979X is really stupid. And then they used these 3 services to just make an entire blanket statement that like LTA is not doing justice for like commuters because all they get is like feeder expresses and nobody is getting all my favorite rapid bus services. So basically they just yapped nonstop. So if you ever see these people yapping about the 3 feeder expresses that they've introduced, I mean, technically one of them got converted and then the other 2 were new, right? So if I ever hear these people talking shit about like how these feeder expresses are useless, I'm not gonna entertain them. But you've heard it from me because I actually went there. Did I did the casual demand study thingy, whatever you call it, because I actually rode the buses and I'm speaking right now from experience. Whether you choose to believe me or not, it's entirely up to you. I'm not going to force you guys to believe me, but just want to say, I just say things as it is. So yeah, that's about it. Again, sorry. That's the first jump cut that you saw. I did this all in one take. That's how you know that it's unscripted and I'm just saying things that come to my mind. And I'm not like reading this from a script or anything, it's just from my own raw experiences. Pardon the noise, by the way. I mean, the bottom line is that if a feeder express bus service on its first PM trip, regardless of whether it's like AM or PM, in this context it's PM, if it can already get like 27 packs on the first trip, on the very, very first day, I mean, partially because they have advertised it well. Again, even if there was like, okay, regardless of whether like there is actual advertisement or otherwise, doesn't really matter. The fact is that I counted 27 packs. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but I counted 27 packs. And that alone already tells you something. Once again, I do understand that Tengah's bus connectivity is not that good as of this point, but at least there's some sort of effort, be it short-term or long-term solutions. At least they're doing something. I don't necessarily have to like agree with what they're currently doing, but right now they're kind of like resource strapped, and with what they have like right now, I still think they did an okay job. Like it's decent in a way. So yeah, that was my unfiltered evaluation of the 3 feeder services that were introduced today, 2025 November 17. Okay, that's about it. Bye.